Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be putting Doom Eternal to a test on my gaming laptop, Lenovo Legion 5. In terms of specs, it's 6-core 12 threads CPU, Ryzen 5600H, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, dual channel of course, RTX 3060 mobile GPU with 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, and it also comes with Gen 3 SSD. So it's a very good machine, I would say, and it's very good for gaming as well. And as you can see, it's already running way above 100 frames per second. So let me show you the settings I'm using for this test. So first of all, I'm running this game at high settings because I'll be testing ray tracing as well, and ray tracing at ultra settings requires way too much memory, right? So that's just too much. So if you want to use ray tracing this game on this 6 gigabytes RTX 3060, well, you have to lower the settings a little bit. The game is running at 1080p, so that's that. Right now, ray tracing is off, DLSS is off. I just want to show you how game runs with these settings, right? So right now we're getting something about 160, 180 frames per second. You can see the metrics in the top right corner. So let's just give this a level a little bit of run. I actually killed off all the enemies in this level, so I get very repetitive kind of runs, if you know what I mean. I just want to like compare, and as you can see, even in this very open kind of area over here, we are running way above 130-40 frames per second, so that's pretty impressive. We are getting almost 200 frames in this particular scene, right? So yeah, that's 1080p, high settings, running very well. No ray tracing, no DLS right now. By the way, if you want to be using ray tracing, you can actually run this game at ultra settings as well, but then you won't be able to use ray tracing. I just wanted to let you know. And also, you know, just to give you, I guess, a comparison, let's just run it at ultra for a minute, just to give you, just to show you how does it affect performance, right? So the performance obviously drops a little bit here with ultra settings, and also mind you that I'm running OBS while playing this game, so that will affect the performance a little bit. So that's how it runs at ultra. In this open area, you know, the frame rate drops sometimes to like 80 frames per second, right? So yeah, running the ultra and high settings, that you won't probably notice much of a difference in terms of graphics, especially in game like this, which is very fast paced and stuff, right? But the performance takes a big hit because we were running this open space kind of level at high settings way above 120. Now it drops to like 80 frames per second, so that's a big difference, right? A huge difference, I would say. So are these settings worth it? Well, I would debate it, to be honest with you. Okay, so let's go back to high settings, because obviously I want to show you the difference between the DLSS and DLSS off. So with DLSS off, this level we were getting around 120 to 100 and well, you know, 40 in the open area, right? Sometimes up to 200 in the like a close areas. So right now you can see that, you know, not in the open world we are getting up to like 200 frames, but now when we move over here, you know, the frame rate is around 150. It drops sometimes to 120, but the frame rate is much higher because we over here we were getting around 110, 120 frames per second. So it's a difference of around 20-30 frames per second with DLSS on. So that's probably around 20-30%, right? So yeah, DLSS works, and obviously this is quality. So if we were to run it in performance, DLSS performance mode, the frame rate would be even higher, right? But you know, I think that the quality is more than enough. So now another test, you know, last two tests ahead of us. So now let's disable DLSS, let's turn it off, and let's enable ray tracing. So with ray tracing, obviously there's going to be a massive dip in performance. Now this game is running 1080p 60 frames per second, and it's still running over 60 frames per second. So that's still, actually no, now it's dropping below 50, right? So maybe it's not that great either anymore. But like I said, that's ray tracing 1080p without DLSS. I will turn on DLSS in a minute, and then we'll see you know, the difference. The lighting is a little bit different, but to be honest with you, I'm not really sure if ray tracing is really worth it that much, because like you sacrifice quite a lot of performance in my opinion. And yeah, you get reflections here and there, but you know, I'm not really sure if that's really that makes that much of a difference. So now let's turn on DLSS and leave ray tracing on as well. Let's put it to quality, save the settings, and you can see that it went from like 60 to almost to 80 frames per second, and now it's going to be a little bit smoother, that's for sure, because usually DLSS offers like, you know, 20-30% increase in performance. So over here we were getting 50 frames per second, and right now we are getting 65, well 60. So you know, I guess if you really want to play, if you really want to use ray tracing in this game, especially in these more open kind of areas, well, DLSS is a must, and you're just going to be getting 60 frames per second. But yeah, in the closed environments like this, then you will have a little bit more, like 70-80. But I think ray tracing in this game, I mean, I didn't notice any you know, huge difference, to be honest with you. So I would turn it off, right? I would leave DLSS on, or you know, we could even increase the resolution, that kind of stuff. But you know, let's keep the test to 1080p. And yeah, so basically, in my opinion, it's just better to have ray tracing off, DLSS in quality, and you can actually crank up the settings, so the game will look a little bit better, and you still be getting, you know, like 120 over 100 frames per second, and it feels just super smooth. You know, much better way to play this game. Still. On top of that, like, you can also enable resolution scaling. So you can see, like, you know, right now, you know, we are getting way above 100 frames per second, 120 sometimes even. There is one moment in this level where we get around 100, slightly below, even right now. Over here, like 90. There's a lot of geometry, I guess, right? But we can enable resolution scaling, I guess. Log the frame rate to whatever frame rate you want. So let's do a quick test. I didn't test it out before, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. So vertical sync, let's turn it on, and also resolution scaling dynamic, and apply. So it's going to be it will be trying to hit 120, but you can clearly see that's not always the case, and I'm not really sure if, yeah, this area I think is slightly better. It won't go above 120 because I locked it. But one area over there was like we were getting way below 90. Actually drops below 90 as well, below 100 as well. Yeah, it's dropping here as well. So I'm not really sure if dynamic resolution scaling actually works well in this game. But either way, like when it comes to this game, I would recommend it playing without ray tracing, with DLSS on. You know, try to hit 120 frames per second. Obviously, there's quite a lot of open spaces like this. But if you've got VSync and if you actually use the laptop screen, you won't even notice the frame rate drops because it's a G-Sync. Anyway, so guys, that's the Doom for you. I hope you liked it. I will have some more content like this in the future. Testing my laptop and stuff. I should have a review of this laptop in weeks, maybe 2 weeks time, I guess, as well. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that I'm running this game and this laptop on Windows 11, so it's still in beta. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with Windows 11. Right, works well for me, really. So can't really complain. So yeah, that's the test. Let me know what you think. Do you want more tests like this? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.